Sossion, how hard or difficult is it to implement that? Let's take a look now first at the number of unionizable teachers. That we have 288,000 in the country. And if we look at the amounts that have been, they will now earn, a primary school teacher level 1, current pay 16,692, that is the minimum. The highest paid is about 25,000. This is minimum, and this was 2012, July 2012, the current structures. 50%, if you do 50% minimum, that is 50 to 60% pay increase that they are supposed to have by 25th of July, it should be around 25,000 shillings. That is what a P1 primary school teacher should get. ATS teacher there, we can see. Let me get that confirmation again from Wilson Sossion. Approved teacher study, right. Approved teacher study status, rather. Approved teacher status 4, 19,323. They're supposed to earn then 28,984 shillings. And 3 there, 24,662, 36,993 by the end of July, this coming month. Of course, that starts tomorrow. And if we can see now what that means, the current wage bill in the budget without that increment is about 181 billion shillings for teachers. New wage bill, which will be about 52 billion shillings on top, would be 233 billion shillings. Now, that is the question. Wilson Sossion, thank you so much for making time to join us for the big question tonight. The question is that we've seen already, it's a big ruling for you. You've mentioned that very well in the story we've just seen. Education Cabinet Secretary and the government already is concerned that this may not be sustainable. And let's start by the fact that they're saying they're going to appeal the case tomorrow.
The statement by the Cabinet Secretary that is going to appeal is indeed the mischief of the highest order. In the first place, we didn't take this matter to court. It is the employer who took us to court. And matters were canvassed very successfully. And we believe the wisdom of the court took into account so many factors. And we saw deliberate attempts by government through different agencies to frustrate the process. And where we are now, this indeed is in the public interest. And for now, as teachers, we are satisfied. And any attempt by anybody to move to court, then it will meet very, very stiff resistance from our side. That's a warning we are sending out. The order is clear. It was read out very clearly.
But they have a right to appeal. Everybody has a right to appeal.
It is them who took us to court, and they canvassed, and we have been granted. And this is not the first time we are having this ruling. We've had it before, and it has always prevailed. So people should not live in denial. And we would want to believe that Kaimenyi was speaking for himself. He was not speaking for anyone else. So let anyone else be warned. This matter is as good as done. And any attempt to try and frustrate it will meet very, very stiff and instant resistance of teachers.
I believe Kaimenyi was speaking for the government, which is concerned about that wage bill.
I have said I want to believe he was speaking for himself.
But it's the Education Cabinet Secretary. 52.2 billion
but it's not the employer.
Okay,
it's not the employer.
52.2 billion shillings. I mean, the budget has already been passed. Where is this money going to come from? That is the question.
The government budgetary process is not our issue. The court is an institution that is entrenched in the Constitution. And government does not close down business simply because a budget has been approved. There is a supplementary budget. There are reviews we have seen before. Budgetary appropriation has been approved. And any debate to advance that this is too huge, a move from 181 billion to 233 billion,
at the minimum.
In fact, that is minimal, considering the budget expenditure of this country that is standing at 2.2 trillion. Okay. Where is all that money going to? We want to believe. And we are not just believing. This is even too little. It's modest. We are taking it because the court has said it. Otherwise, does Kenya require teachers? If yes, they are not going to work for free.
And the question is, okay, you know as so many other Kenyans know, I'm not taking anything away from teachers and what they have. It's like a win today for them. I'm not taking anything away from them, but we live in a country where we know we have a problem with the wage bill. Currently, 181 billion shillings is 10% of the budget. We're moving that up by 52.2 billion shillings. And I want to read a text here from Nelly from Busia, who says, Sossion should have the interest of this country at heart and stop being selfish as Nat. What if other sectors start doing this? It's a bad precedent.
It's not a bad precedent. The issue of the wage bill is a creation of individuals in this country. Nobody's talking about corruption and evasion of taxation. Evasion of taxation puts a figure of 137 billion shillings that goes into waste. Considering our GDP, 137 billion is too huge, coupled with corruption. Are we saying we must sustain corruption, sustain evasion of taxes? We pay taxes as teachers, and therefore, in return, we need our rights. And these are rights that we have canvassed through a long process. It has been granted by a court.
But you stand accused at the expense of other Kenyans.
No, it's not the expense of other Kenyans. If taxation was effectively carried out in this country and loopholes sealed, we will net 137 billion. Mm-hmm. And that 137 billion will just get just a fraction of it to the teaching service. And the rest of the billions could be spread to other services.
Okay.
Somebody somewhere, someone must take responsibility and take care of our economy. This is what everybody is evading. Okay. We are getting very political, and this is what we must vacate. There must be due management of the economy of this country and the resources. If that is done, Kenya will hire enough teachers and pay them better salaries.
Vincent in Narok saying Sossion always uses Lone Ranger tactics and comes to the negotiating table with a closed mind. Why can't he negotiate about this?
We are not talking about.
Is it impossible?
We are not talking about.
If the government asks you to come to the negotiating table, because already where they stand, this is such a huge.
Where we are at the moment, the hose has bolted out.
It must be done by the end of July.
It has, yes.
Is that reasonable? Can that happen?
The order is clear, and the judge said it takes effect instantly, immediately. That's an order from the court. Do we respect the courts? Do we respect our institutions? Do we respect the rule of law? Do we respect the rights of others? Do we respect the Constitution? Servitude is the worst thing, and I think this country has done very badly in terms of the social sector and in terms of the rights of workers. We must push. Once this is done, this is going to be a turning point in the labor movement in this country.
So this has to happen either way, according to you, by the end of July?
It has to be done by end of July.
Okay, we'll see how that goes.
Because the CBA commences effectively from 1st of July 2013. Right. And it's spread out. The mathematics are laid out very clearly.
But the argument...
So really, from 1st of July, would want payment backdated to 1st of July 2013.
That is
and then 2014, the phase of 2014. And for this year...
That is the order given, we all agree.
That's the order. But now, comply with the order.
But now...
And debating the order is in bad faith.
Critics on the other side...
And critics are operating will be operating in very bad faith. And in any case, we've gone through a process. There is no other better process beyond this.
All right.
We think we are done on this matter.
All right. Sadly, we have to wind it up here because of time. But thank you so much, Wilson Sossion, Secretary General, Kenya National Union of Teachers. Will this be implemented? Of course, the teachers believe it's their right. And many, of course, are also texting here, teachers saying this has been long in coming. Like somebody here says, Kimanga in Mombasa, it's a win not only for teachers but all low-paid state officers, magistrates, and all this shall ensure JSC follows suit. So it's a big thing for teachers. We'll see how that goes. Thank you so much, Wilson Sossion, for making time for us for the big question. Remember, also coming up shortly, we have Igembe South Member of Parliament Mithika Linturi and Gatundu South MP Moses Kuria claims, Linturi is going to talk about that, by some MPs or leaders in central Kenya that President Kenyatta has forsaken the region. What do you think? Keep talking to us on 22422 or on Twitter using the hashtag the big question. Let's close off our back for more news with Janet.